I just think people are running from issues. And I don't think in this business you're supposed to run from issues. And the fact that everybody's running from the big elephant in the room involving the WNBA and the latest with Coach Stephanie White of the Indiana Fever going on a little tirade during a post-game press conference because people were accusing her of not supporting her player after Sophie Cunningham was essentially, knocked upside the damn head by Dijonai Carrington.
Stephanie White's emotional press conference and angry response have backfired as frustrated fans demand answers and question whether she should remain as head coach. What happens when a coach appears to go to war with her own fan base? What happens when an organization seems completely disconnected from what supporters believe they are seeing on the court? We are finding out right now, and the fallout is getting harder to ignore. The Indiana Fever are facing a growing controversy, with Stephanie White standing directly in the middle of it. This is no longer simply about wins and losses. It is about trust, leadership, public relations, and a fan base that believes its concerns are being dismissed. To understand how the situation reached this point, we have to go back to the incident that started everything. The chaos erupted during a highly physical matchup between the Indiana Fever and Chicago Sky. During the game, Sky player Dijonai Carrington was ejected after receiving a flagrant 2 foul for striking Fever guard Sophie Cunningham around the head and neck area. In a normal situation, many fans would expect the head coach to immediately defend her player, emphasize player safety, and make it clear that dangerous contact cannot be tolerated. But White's response became controversial because she had previously coached Carrington with the Connecticut Sun and appeared sympathetic toward her former player, saying she did not oppose the hard foul.
Blitz today. And I knew she would. As soon as that came out of her mouth, I was like, oh, she's going to get destroyed. She thinks whatever backlash she's been seeing was an issue. She hadn't seen nothing yet. You're telling your paying customer to go to hell. And you can't try to backtrack this now. That's exactly what you did. You see this team gets too, I've said this before, this team gets too much attention for her. Plain and simple. That's why I've said before you needed an NBA coach. Somebody that can handle all the scrutiny that's going to come with being the coach of Caitlin Clark. That it is what it is. Every little thing is going to get...
Let that sink in for a moment. The head coach appeared to defend the opponent's physical play after her own player had taken a hard shot around the neck, and the internet immediately exploded. The backlash came so quickly that White was forced into damage control. She later clarified that she had not seen the Carrington foul clearly in real time, and said she did not have the benefit of repeatedly watching the replay before giving her initial reaction. But many fans were not convinced. By that point, trust had already been damaged, and critics began questioning her leadership and judgment. Instead of allowing the controversy to fade, White escalated the situation with an emotional press conference before the Fever's next game. She addressed what she described as hate, fear-mongering, and divisiveness surrounding her team while pushing back against criticism over her handling of the Sophie Cunningham controversy. White repeatedly pounded the table, appeared visibly frustrated, and declined to take questions from reporters. Then came the statement that created another wave of headlines. White said that while she would continue leading with love, grace, and humility, her critics could essentially go to hell. That comment only intensified the backlash. At a time when the WNBA is experiencing enormous attention, growing audiences, and increased commercial interest, White's emotional response placed even more attention on the Indiana Fever. Instead of ending the controversy, her words created another debate about leadership, accountability, and how a coach should handle intense public scrutiny.
In men's sports, that coach usually ends up getting his ass fired. Stephanie White could be on her way out. The fans appear to be done with her. We got to get into it. Welcome to Keep the Vision. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share the channel, hit the bell notification, hype the video. That'd be greatly appreciated. Let's get right into things, man. We have to start right here. Okay, here it says, Indiana Fever head coach Stephanie White was booed by fans prior to a game following backlash over her comments defending Chicago Sky guard Dijonai Carrington after her flagrant 2 foul on Fever guard Sophie Cunningham. Now, we all saw what she had to say, and then she went on this whole tirade before the game, basically telling everybody to F off, go to hell, as a direct quote. She told everybody to go to hell, and the fans booed the hell out of her before the game. You told everybody to go to hell, and the fans booed the hell out of you before the game started. This is courtesy of Alexa Philippou. Statement from Indiana Fever team president. The damn team president had to.
When the reality of White's emotional outburst began to settle in, she shifted toward an emotional appeal, emphasizing that she is only human and insisting that love would ultimately win. She tried to project strength, saying the team remained united, connected, and unwilling to let outside noise divide them. But many fans rejected that message. Critics accused her of using emotion as a calculated public relations strategy instead of directly addressing their concerns. They wanted accountability rather than another emotional performance. The backlash soon moved from social media into the arena. During the Fever's game against the New York Liberty, sections of Indiana's home crowd loudly booed Stephanie White. The reaction became impossible to ignore, with online discussions turning increasingly hostile and some fans demanding that she be fired. Indiana's lieutenant governor also entered the debate, publicly calling for White's dismissal. What began as a basketball controversy was quickly becoming a larger organizational crisis involving the coach, fans, media, and political voices. At that point, many expected the Fever's front office to intervene and consider major changes to protect the organization's reputation. Instead, leadership chose a completely different path. Team president Kelly Krauskopf publicly backed White, praising her ability to keep the team focused and united while facing extraordinary attention. Krauskopf made it clear that Stephanie White continued to have the full support of the organization's leadership.
We would be demanding that folks speak up and put it where the goats can get it and get down to the bare bones about what's really, really, really going on here and not dancing around the issues. And what disgusts me, listening to so many of these ladies talk about the issues. You're smart, you're articulate, you're educated. You got facts, you got fervor and passion, you've got knowledge, you've got history backing you up. You got a whole bunch of things in your favor, along with the microphone and the lens to look into the camera and address it with the realness, the sincerity, and the passion and the fervor it deserves. And y'all dancing. There's one person I'm going to give credit for not dancing. And that's somebody I brought up earlier. That's Andrea Carter, my colleague at ESPN, who is sensational. Listen to what she had to say last night.
In reality, all of this emotion is coming from Steph White and what she said post-game about Dijonai, which she said it was a flagrant 2 foul, but she didn't think Dijonai was purposely going for her neck and that Dijonai is a player that plays hard. That's essentially what Steph White said. And people were going crazy, calling for her job because of that post-game statement. And, you know, I'm so interested in all those people that were piling on and calling for Steph White's job in this most recent week. How many Indiana Fever games have you actually watched? How many games have you actually paid attention to watch the team and what they're doing out on the court? Are you calling for Steph White's job because of who she is as a coach? Or are you calling for her job because you watched one clip and you're piling on and you're fueled by hatred and you're finding a space to exercise something that's not related to basketball at all? And that's where we are right now in the W. And that's why it's so frustrating. You can't just talk about basketball. And I look forward to the day, like Steph White said, when this is a space where basketball fans come to pick apart the game and the performances and come to celebrate the talent that we have, and where people are judged based on their basketball thoughts and what happens on the court, and their character is not associated with those things. And we're just not at that place right now.
Hot piece and butter. Hot piece and butter. You remember that game? Or should I say hot piece of butter rather than hot piece of butter? Red light, green light, 1, 2, 3. You're getting closer and closer and closer because that's where Andrea Carter was going. She's getting warm. She's getting warm.
This organizational decision is a major bombshell. The Fever's front office is choosing to stand behind Stephanie White rather than appease an increasingly angry fan base. That creates a growing divide between team leadership and supporters. Even superstar Caitlin Clark was forced to step into the middle of the situation and play peacemaker. The generational talent revealed that she had spoken privately with White, reminding everyone that coaches are human too, while attempting to calm the escalating tension surrounding the team.
Logic in this league. Christine Brennan's on the money. I think you have a way out with this. I'm in agreement with Dre. I think this is the way out. But I don't think they'll do it because all we've watched this league do is get in its own way at every single turn. And at this point, I'm past looking for them to do the smart thing, the logical thing, what's best for business. I'm done looking for them to actually legitimize this league and not make it a pure clown show. I mean, Jason, we just had Sydney Colson, former Indiana Fever, talking about how they need to just go ahead and start their own black and queer league. I mean, what are we even talking about? It's a circus, man. They have no clue what they're doing. This thing is full of emotion and no logic, and that is the problem.
So, Maurice, and be quick, but don't hurry here, because Steve, I got a question for you that I want to get to, and then I want to transition into a little Pat McAfee. But this rally last night and this blowout victory of the New York Liberty, and I thought the New York Liberty played poorly, seemed to be undermanned, but I'm sure Stephanie White and Kelly Krauskopf and Amber Cox, they're all sitting around. They're all rallying around Stephanie, and this is going to be great, and we're going to make a playoff run, and don't you see how together this has galvanized the team? Do you think it has? Do you think this is going to lead to a run into the WNBA finals?
No, I think if they make a run, it's going to be because Kelsey Mitchell can't miss a shot. She's the most efficient scoring guard in the league. Caitlin Clark is third in the league in scoring and first in the league in assists. If they make a run, it's going to be because of that explosive backcourt. It has nothing to do with galvanizing around Stephanie White. Kelsey Mitchell has a max contract. She's going to be looking to secure an off-season long-term deal. And obviously there's a lot for Caitlin Clark to prove. Sophie Cunningham is going to be looking to get paid once again. Their play last night was more about the fact that the New York Liberty, for whatever reason, they got rid of all their athleticism. They couldn't guard on the perimeter at all. And Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell couldn't miss a shot. This was not about Stephanie White.
Steve, I got one more WNBA type question before we transition. I want to play you this clip of Ryan Clark and on the pivot. He's chiming in on the WNBA, and he's chiming in on Enes Kanter and Royce White, making the point.
But can a few supportive words from a superstar erase the damage caused by a coach publicly clashing with her own fan base? The Indiana Fever now face growing pressure. A coach being booed inside her own arena while management continues defending her creates an uncomfortable divide. The tension is rising, and the team's leadership will eventually have to address it. Will the front office continue protecting Stephanie White, or will mounting fan pressure finally force a change?